Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action. I am back again with a metal update, CDs and records this time. All the things that I picked up through the mid part of January through to now in February. Thought I'd do a mix of CDs and LPs this time. I've even got a 10-inch in here, which doesn't happen very often. So let's get going into this by listening to, and the first album what we're going to be talking about is Burial. This is a new Burial. There's so many bands called Burial. This one is a band from Italy. These guys did a couple of demos and an EP, 2019. And this CD represents a compilation of all of their work so far. So this is a good entry point to the band Burial. They play, as you can hear, a thick and heavy death metal, pretty much in the old school style. Deep, heavy vocals. And it just rings out, just gargantuan sound. So very good stuff here. This is Burial. The Eons of Horror is what this compilation's called, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys do for a proper full length after this compilation demos. Very good stuff. Next thing that we've got is kind of a sad one. This is the last album and the last one forever, presumably, for Deeds of Flesh. This is Nucleus. This was the album nobody was expecting. I believe, from memory, was the guitarist that passed away a few years ago, and it was mentioned, I think it was like 2016 or so. Nobody expected there to be more material. I certainly didn't. Apparently he had recorded pretty much all of this album with the rest of the band, of course, and yeah, they put out Nucleus. It's got guest vocals, which is very interesting. If we take a look at the booklet, it's a cool digipack thing as well. So Deeds of Flesh have been around since like 92, 91. They did their EP on Wild Rags, like Gradually Melted demo, which was awesome. Just flicking through here, yeah. So you've got Decrepit Bill doing some guest vocals. You got Luke LeMay from Gorguts, George Corpse Grinder. You all know what he's from. John Gallagher's in here. Frank Mullen from Suffocation. Yeah, and a whole bunch more. It's really quite an interesting use of the extra vocals, and it's definitely a very technical Deeds of Flesh album. They've always been technical, brutal death metal, but a lot of this, the guitars on this are quite crazy. The only issue I've got with this is it's probably a bit overproduced. It's quite clinical, which happens a lot with the Unique Leader stuff. But this is definitely the most, I suppose I could say, sterile. A very bright sounding record. The drums don't sound particularly real. Though of course they are. It's just, you know, I'm not used to this style of very, very modern death metal. You know, the more technical death metal bands, the more popular type ones. I don't usually listen to that kind of stuff. So, and I know that they're usually very well polished in their sound. And that's what Deeds did on this one. It's not bad, it's just not what I'm used to. So anyway, that's the last one from Deeds of Flesh and Nucleus. I'd be very sorry to see them go. Great band. Latest one from Bloodsoaked Necrovoid. Awesome death doom band out of Costa Rica. Two-piece band that is also one half of Astroferis, who are more death metal band, but Bloodsoaked Necrovoid is just as that, you know, dark cosmic death metal sound that Astroferis do. This one's called Expelled into the Unknown Depths of the Unfathomable. You know what I'm saying, anyway. It's late at night. This is good. This is their real first album. There's a compilation that is out on, I think it's Iron Bonehead. This album's also on Iron Bonehead. That mixes their two demos together. Their two demos were excellent. Very dark, doomy death metal sound, bordering on disembowelment at times. Lots of like Vassifor sound in there as well. It does get a bit of speed up there every now and then to just sort of, you know, shake you out of the doom. But so did disembowelment. So, you know, if you like that kind of sound, you're gonna like the filth from Bloodsoaked Necrovoid. Yeah, and this album just picks up where the demo's left off. The song titles take 2 lines. You know, taking the full demolic approach there. Perverted astral intoxication for a death incarnation. Existential dismemberment by transcendental nothingness. Say that when you're drunk. Yeah, Bloodsoaked Necrovoid. Very good stuff. The LP came and went, and I just missed it. Like, it must have sold out so quick on Iron Bonehead. This is a 2020 release, but yeah, I kind of slept on it a bit, waiting for an LP to drop, and I guess I just sort of missed it. It might have gone on pre-order, I don't know. But the CD showed up locally, and I'm happy enough with that for this album. So there you go, Bloodsoaked Necrovoid and their latest album, Expelled into the Unknown Depths of the Unfathomable. For God's sake. Next up, Lie in Ruins, their latest album. This is Floating in Timeless Streams, Finnish death metal, out on Dark Descent Records, their 2020 album. The few things in this list that I'm showing that were tail end of 2020, and I just didn't get there in time. So, you know, does this kind of stuff shake up my my 2020 favourites? Who knows at this stage? It's a bit too early to tell, but there's a few of them in here. Always happens, the November, December titles end up getting them in 2021. But I digress. Yeah, this one from Lie in Ruins is really good. They did an album on Dark Descent 2 or 3 years ago, I think. It just continues on with that. They are doing a modern take on Finnish death metal. It's dark and deep. It does have, you know, a slowness through a lot of it, but then, like, bang, track 2 starts off with, you know, D beat that makes it sound like Swedish death metal. It's a good mix of all kinds of just general death metal sounds. And I was very surprised to find this locally at Utopia Records. I didn't know they were going to stock Dark Descent titles, but, you know, they had 1 copy of this, so I snapped it up. Yeah, look, it's actually not a great deal to say about it. It's if I don't usually say Finnish death metal is meat and potatoes, but if you're going to call meat and potatoes death metal for Finnish, then Lie in Ruins could qualify. So there you go. Good album from them, Floating in Timeless Streams. And yeah, good album. Next one, Intestine, Barlism. I hadn't thought about these guys in a minute. They did an awesome album in like 1996 or 7 called Anatomy of the Beast, which was a spectacular album, an underground hit for sure. These guys are from Japan, and they do not play very Japanese sounding music. These guys play, you could sort of say it's Swedish death metal, but if you take you know, some of the early Dismember sound, but then make the vocals more guttural, and the leads, really take the leads from something like, oh geez, I'm not too sure, they're just so completely melodic, the leads on these things. Maybe something like a Bill Steer lead would be what you'd get on here. And this particular album, anyway, is actually their demo. So this is their 1994 demo called, oh god, the Energumenes? I don't know. Hard to say, hard to read, but you get 6 tracks from that 1994 demo, and then 4 tracks recorded live in 2018. Which sound really good live recordings. So this is not an essential release. If you haven't ever heard the band, get Anatomy of the Beast. That's the one you want. Big green cover. Get that album. But this is really good. It was easy for me to get. Local distributor had it for like $10, so no-brainer. I'd happy to have more of their material. As I said, very good band, very interesting sound. Not exactly what you'd expect from Japanese death metal. So yeah, very cool. Intestine, Barlism, awesome stuff. Whew, speaking about intestines, you might want to close your eyes for this one if you're a bit squeamish. This is, wow, Miasmatic Necrosis. Check that cover out. Isn't that amazing? Ridiculous stuff. And the album is called Apex Profane. It's like 21 tracks of very polished, nasty gore grind. US band, I think. If you like gore grind, you're gonna like this one. Short to the point, the track's barely a minute long. If you like, you know, Recaputrefaction, of course, you get mentioned. General Surgery, early stuff. but also then things like Last Days of Humanity and the gurgly vocals and just their blistering speed. But not drum machines, real drums as far as I can tell. But it's the polished sound of this. The guitars sound like Hemdale, like they're just deep riffs, almost like modern sounding guitars from say like a deathcore band or something where it's real djenty. That makes me shiver just saying that. But don't run away, it's still gore grind. It's just got such a good production to it. God, that cover is just amazing. Fantastic stuff. I wonder how horrible it gets inside. Oh god, pretty horrible. And tracks like Embryonic Cranial Pump, Festering Carrion Transubstantiation. That's pretty cool. And then Seeping Parasitic Innards, and gore grind's a blast. So you know what you're getting. It's just polished. It's very well done. Follows the formula. The bass. Oh my god, the bass in this. Probably some of the heaviest sounding gore grind. A lot of gore grind can sound a bit rough as guts and a bit tinny because it's recorded in a garage. This is not. This has had all the production thrown at it, and the bass guitar, the bass drums, wow, but the bass guitar, such a rumble to it, really makes it sound proper gore grind, really thick metal sound. Love it. Static Necrosis, good stuff. And the last of the CDs, this is what I was chasing for a long time, just waiting for a good copy to show up for a reasonable price, and it showed up locally. This is the debut album from Total Self-Hatred, that's one word. 2008, I think this came out, and I lucked out. It's the first pressing with Slip. Slip is a little bit beaten up, which is what happens with these things over time, but the rest of it's very, very fine indeed. So there's the other cover, and there's the CD. So what do you get with these guys? It's depressive black metal, definitely the stuff to put on when you're in a bit of a mood. If you like bands like Cold World, I reckon they sound a bit like that. Doom Versus, another band that sounds like these guys. But it's very melancholy, obviously being sort of, depressive black metal. Very emotive in the riffs, very emotive in the vocals. The vocalist in this was the vocalist from Horner for the entire 2000s. This is a Finnish band, and somebody from Pest is involved as well. So it's not an unknown act. I haven't really listened to anything past this album, but this debut. Oh man, I was listening to it for so long digitally, and couldn't get a copy. Finally, very happy to get it. It's such a good album. Just sort of, how would I explain it again? I guess just saying that it is emotive is probably the best way of describing it. The guitars ring out. They're just a very warm sound as well. Like the genre is depressive black metal, but it doesn't make you feel depressed. It's something you put on when you might be a bit down, and I think it raises the spirits a bit. It's a positive sounding album, even though the lyrics are probably not so. But to me, I don't want to say happy riffs. It's not. It's but in that same way that the very last Bluthaus Nord album had such a positive vibe to it, I get that with this one from Total Self-Hatred. I don't know. It's probably just me. The band is called Total Self-Hatred after all. But anyway, excellent album, and I'm very happy to have it. On to the records now. We're going to start with 10-inch. This is from a pretty new band. I think they're from the Marylands. I think I read that. This is a 10-inch from Noxus. Expanse of Hellish Black Mire. 4 tracks on 2 on each side. Also available on a 12-inch from a different label. This is the Rotted Life version on 10-inch. Somebody else, I think, European side did it on 12-inch, and there's also a tape, there's also a CD. They went all out with this release. Pardon me, so many different versions. I just like showing off 10 inches because I never get the things that often. It's like not quite a 7-inch and not quite a 12-inch. Isn't that lovely? Anyway, now I've got a re-sleeve on camera. What do you get with Noxus? 4 tracks of pretty damn punishing death metal. It sounds heaving, I think is a great word for it. Very clean in the production, something that you wouldn't expect to get until full-length album, but you know, this has got that modern immolation sound to it. Very well produced. Heavy as a truckload of overweight people going down a ice-filled slope to a... I don't know where I'm going with that, but goddamn, this thing is heavy. Generally quite fast, and when it's not fast, it's just booming, just chugging along on those riffs. There's much more to say than this is extremely heavy. I mean, look at the damn cover there. I don't know if it's a logo or if it's the artwork. That's the proper logo anyway. This is just fantastic. On Rotted Life. Good thing about it as well, I mentioned before, Rotted Life stuff's very easy to get because it ends up on Amazon, which is very good for me in Australia. Take advantage of that free shipping. So great stuff. I'm hoping to hear more from these guys. As I said, very brutal, very heavy death metal. Not much more to write home about that one. Awesome stuff from Noxus. Expanse of Hellish Black Mire. The only oldie and goldie I've got to show this time is this one from Sacrilege. There's a few different Sacrileges out there. This is, I believe, the UK one. Within the Prophecy. This came out in 87, I think. Yeah, 87. Made in England. This is the under one flag. Might be. Let's take a bit of a look at the inside. The sleeve is the lyrics. There's the photo of the band, which is very nice. And yes, we are an under one flag press, so very cool. Now, what do you get with these guys? 80s thrash is what you get. It's pretty straight ahead stuff. It's kind of a little bit technical at times. What's interesting is Linda Simpson on vocals. I can't think of too many female thrash singers, particularly in the 80s, that spring to mind. Sentinel Beast is about the only one I can think of, along with Sacrilege. But yeah, she's absolutely belting it out on this one. Sort of clean vocals, but real rough grit to them. Quite a melodic sounding in the thrash. Yeah, it's just really good, solid stuff. Found this one on Discogs, and paid a very reasonable price for it too, for a kind of thing that doesn't show up in Australia very often. So yeah, my first foray into Sacrilege. I think they've got at least one more album, maybe more, and I'm not entirely sure if they're still going. I need to do a bit of research on these guys. Had never heard them before. It's one of those ones I'd seen the logo around for many years and thought, oh dear, that logo looks kind of power metal. I don't think I'm going to like this. But you know, that was teenage me, and I was wrong anyway. It's pretty much just thrash. So just a bit more. It is a bit more technical, but it's also quite more melodic as well. So yeah, don't expect Creator, expect Sacrilege. Really good stuff within the Prophecy. Next one, Repute. What a great name for a death metal band. Dawn of Reintoxication. My God, this is. I've told you this before, that I just say the new one by the band, and yeah. Anyway, Dawn of Retoxication, something. That's not going to help me, is it? Reintoxication. Thank you. We get it there in the end. So, Repute. Stupid name aside, these guys play filthy, not exactly being serious death metal. Song titles. One of them is called Kick Fuck, Shit Fister, Global Burning. That one sounds kind of normal. Livers Bleed. Well, what else do they do? And Fucking Your Fucking Corpse. Demonetized. I just went down the hill. Anyway, Repute. Filthy sound. There's a bit of impetigo in this sound. A lot of autopsy in this. I think these guys really wished they were autopsy, particularly early days. Bit of macabre. It's just really good fun, not so serious and ugly death metal. I'd never heard of them before. I'm not too sure where they're from. They're possibly a US band, but anyway, yeah, it's just good fun, and it goes at quite the pace. Did I get a colour on this one? I don't remember. I think it might be black. Yes, just a black LP. Got this one from a local distro, which is always cool. find new stuff I'd never heard of, but available locally, so I take a bit more of a punt that way. Which is exactly what I did with these guys, Repute. I just saw it come up, I thought that cover art is awesome. It's got open sewers, it's got demons, and they're called Repute, so let's give it a go. And I was very happy with this one, so there you go. Dawn of Reintoxication. Awesome. Next one, and this one I've played like 10 times already. I've said before that a lot of the modern Swedish death metal bands that try and be old school, there are so many of them that I kind of lost track, and so many of them are cookie cutter. Bands like Nomenon is one that I had the CDs, and everything sounded exactly the same. It sounded watered down compared to the classics, and there was so many other bands like that coming out in that sort of early 2010s period. I've had enough. But then, in the last couple of years, we've started to get, obviously, bands like Gatecreeper, but we've had some very interesting Swedish-sounding bands, and this is a great one. Frostwolf, Drowned by Blood. I showed this in the Countries video, which I'll link below, because these guys play that Swedish death metal sound from Japan, and it's just fantastic. It doesn't reinvent anything, but just by having a different country's approach to it and not being young Swedes playing old Swede music, really invigorates it. The guitar tone's quite thin as well, which is what I really like. They're not going HM2, or if they do, they're not cranking it to 11 like the old Swedes did. And man, that cover, isn't that just amazing? Absolutely love that cover. It's proper death metal. Here's the guys. Japanese band, as I said. You get 9 tracks. It's on Testimony Records, and like if you do like that retro Swedish death metal sound, but you want something a little bit different from it, or if you, again like me, had been completely over that rebirth of Swedish death metal that just kept going and going and going, check out Frostwolf, because I think you'll be pretty happy with what you hear. It's not cookie cutter in that way. It's not reinventing anything, but it's not cookie cutter. I guess that's the best way I could describe it. Great stuff from Frostwolf. Very happy to have this one. Another one that I missed out on listening to last year. I was hoping a copy would show up. Then something happened with the LPs. They arrived late, and then Iron Bonehead, I think. I don't know. Something happened, and I didn't get it in time. I finally got it last week. The new one from Of Feather and Bone, and that was on Profound Law. I got that wrong. Sulfuric Disintegration. These guys are awesome. I found them last year, the year before. I found them in 2019 with, it's not even their debut album, but their first album since rebirthing themselves as a death metal band. Apparently they started as a hardcore band, or sort of, angry, deathy hardcore, but not what they play on here. What they play on here is like somewhere between Angel Corpse and Titan Blood. Like, it is thick and heavy and fast, relentless. And look at that logo, it tells you everything you need to know. That amazing cover art. Completely furious. I absolutely love these guys. Fantastic production on it too. Not sure where they're from. They might be a US band, but I could be wrong on that. Just simple black LP. And this was definitely one that made people's 2020 lists, and man, if I had it in time, I think I even mentioned it on my Instagram post of my 2020s, that I would have probably included this, but I intentionally did not listen to it digitally. I waited until the needle dropped, and I was very happy to hear it. Such a good album. If you like it heavy and dark and fast, then Of Feather and Bone. It's crushing. A bit like Lucifer, the band on Dark Descent. I reckon there's a lot of that in this, so definitely check it out. Awesome. The next one, this is a fantastic album. This is Malachim, or Malachim, I'm not entirely sure, with Theon. This is Swedish black metal, and it is utterly fantastic. Do you miss the Sumberlane? Do you wish there was more of that? Do you wish that Sumberlane was more black, even more black, and a little less melodic? Malachim. This is fantastic. It's also, and this is really strange because they are a Swedish band. It's got some Aussie touches to it. I don't know how they managed it. Erebus Enthroned, Order of Arias, who, coming up next, Denouncement Pyre. Like, a lot of these Aussie bands have this very sort of a ferocious style to them. Very Australian. I mean, we seem to have actually got a really good, unique style. And for some reason I hear that in this album, but it is overwhelmingly Swedish. They got the corpse paint and everything in their band photos, and this is such a really, really nice release. The booklet, wonderful thing. Take a quick look. Lovely art, really, really nice stuff. Lyrics. Don't know the history of this band. There's there they are there. Looks like they're a 5-piece. So yeah, I don't know if this is their first album or the 21st album. I actually don't know anything about them. This showed up at my local Iron Bonehead distributor, and I just saw. First of all, I saw that cover and went, "That is outstanding. What does this band sound like?" Had a quick listen online and went, "Wow, I do need more of the Summer Lane in my life, and I do need it more evil." And I get it with Malachim. I've only played it through twice so far. I need to give this way more listens, but this, I don't know, this could end up being an early contender for the 2021. You never know. It is strong stuff. So 8 tracks there, as I said, on Iron Bonehead. Proper, solid Swedish black metal. Great production for it too. Not over-polished, not under-polished. And like I said, strangely, it's got some of that Australianisms in it. Don't know how they managed that, but really good, Malachim. And I did just mention Order of Arias. This is a band that I don't know if are known outside of Australia. I wouldn't be surprised. They're quite a small act, really. They've had 1 album and 1 EP, to my knowledge. Both of them were fantastic. And out of nowhere, middle of last year, apparently, this thing dropped. And I say apparently because I only discovered it when the LP came out in January. It's actually a 2020 album. Apparently a CD in like July? No idea. I didn't see anything about it. But I'm glad that the LP came out and that I held out for it because this is fantastic. Their previous album was called Inverse, and I play that frequently. It is Australian black metal. Just like I mentioned then, we have our own style, so a bit of Stargazer and a bit of I hear a bit of Astrial in their sound, but that's also a band that not many people outside of Australia know. But anyway, regardless, these guys are fantastic. Great gatefold. There's the back. I'm not too sure who is involved in the band aside from it being Australian, so actually something I should probably know a bit more. Silver version, which is very cool. But yeah, I don't know who these guys might moonlight in other bands or anything like that. It's probably something I should have looked up. But anyway, Order of Arias. I did have the chance to see them live probably about 8 or 9 years ago, 8 years maybe, and they absolutely floored me. There's a dark melody through everything, but it is just unquestionably black metal. There's nothing much else you could say. It's just black metal. It's not too fast. It's not too doomy. It's just straight up black metal in the Australian style, and I'm very much happy to have this one. The album's called Ablaze, I should mention as well. So 2020 album, but 2021 on LP, and you should be able to get copies. So yeah, check them out. Order of Arias. This one, I've only had one listen to this one so far, but man, it was good. This is Trespasser. God knows what that is. I'm not even going to try. Obviously, that's in like Cyrillic or something. Even though I think they're a US band. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but anyway. Trespasser. I heard about these somewhere. Not sure where I heard about them. But again, yeah, a raging black metal sound. Really, really, really good stuff. The difference with these guys is more their sort of political views. I I guess they're very much on the left. What they call, which is something I'd not really heard before. That I think it's called Red Anarchist Black Metal (RABM), which was a subgenre I wasn't too familiar with until recently. It's sort of like the anti-NSBM. So there you go. That's sort of their lyrical stance, and musically, it's just fast and very organic sounding black metal. Yeah, beautiful gold sleeve on the black as well. So as I said, I only have given this one about one spin so far, so I need to spend more time with it, but very impressed so far. Nice red LP, red for Red Anarchy, and yeah, certainly ticked everything that I wanted out of an initial spin. Anyway, we'll see how this one goes for longevity, but yeah. At this point, Trespasser, very good stuff. If you know much more about these guys, then yeah, chime in below what you think of this band. This one I've played more than once. I've played this one about 4 times so far. Don't know how we got it so early down here in Australia, but this is the new one from Ruins of Beverage. Love these guys, always have loved these guys. But I did miss out on their last couple of albums. I think Exuvia, isn't that what it's called? And basically everything after Foulest Semen of the Sheltered Elite I have missed somehow. I think I just loved that early stuff so much I didn't want to ruin the experience. I'm not too sure what happened, but anyway, I probably should go and check those ones out. But anyway, this one is the Thule Grimoires, and it is fantastic. Double LP. It is exactly like the earlier material, but there's a lot more focus on the clean singing. He's super improved, and it's not like it's operatic or anything. It's dark and like evil choir kind of stuff. But it's also got the traditional sort of black metal styles as well. This is just a gargantuan sounding thing. If you've never heard Ruins of Beverage, well, you should, but quite twisted in their sound. The guitars are not normal sounding. There's something going on there. I sort of put them a little bit in the Bluetooth Nord basket, in that they're just a little bit weird. And they were spawned, at least some of the members came out of the German band Nagelfar. Not Nagelfar from Sweden, but I've always loved Nagelfar, and then it turned into Ruins of Beverage to some degree. The first album's continued on from Virus West, the last Nagelfar, and just got more and more twisted as we went on. That previous album that I mentioned, Sheltered Elite, is just like a benchmark in what you can do with black metal and interesting stuff you can do with it. And so far, this is living up to that as well. And I love the absolute dominating green aesthetic on this thing. So this absolutely weighs a ton, and there's a reason for that. Poster, big booklet, which is cool. Lyrics, it's all very green. And I'll just pull out one of them, but I ended up with the color variant, which was very cool, and it's an awesome green. Fantastic. Certainly suits the slimy sound of the music. So yeah, new one from Ruins of Beverage. Now, when it comes to LPs, I've started to be like, oh man, double LP, that's a pain in the ass. I've got to get up, turn it over 4 times. Didn't even feel myself doing it with this one. It is such an engrossing album. I just got up, turned it over, and continued on. Yeah, awesome stuff from Ruins with the Thule Grimoires. Just check it out. If you've never heard them, it's definitely a good place to start as well, because the production's definitely their best. So another one that sort of got lost a bit in being pressed and then repressed, and I think it's actually a repress of it, even though like the first one barely made it out. I don't entirely know what's happened here. This is the new one from, and I'm not sure I say it right. Yes, it is how I think you say it. Aklis. I always say Aklis anyway. So this is Melanie, which had been getting sort of teased for a while, was coming out, and it finally came out just at the very end of last year, I think. But you know, it's basically a 2021 album at this point. If you've never heard Eclipse, you've probably heard some of the other bands that this guy's involved with. Nightbringer is one main one, Aotas, Bestia Arcana, all related bands that are involved and related to Eclipse. It's kind of a little bit, I could say, a little bit like Ruins of Beverage, but really it has a sound similar to those other bands I mentioned. So if you haven't heard any of them, I guess the best thing to say what these guys sound like would be that modern Abigor sound. So not industrial, because I don't think Abigor ever went industrial black metal, but that more tech black metal. I don't know how you want to describe it. They went kind of strange. They almost like, you know, Abigor almost started to get like a French band for a little while there. They dialed it back a bit on the last two albums, but for that period, I reckon that's what you get a lot of with Eclipse and the related bands like Aotas and Nightbringer. So it's very well polished, very speedy black metal, very evil and sinister sounding stuff. And this one comes on a pretty cool splatter, which I'm very happy about. And this is one I've only also managed to give one spin to so far, so I can't say a great deal about it, except for compared to the previous album, it continues on quite nicely from that. It's not sort of, you know, hasn't changed any opinions on the style of music or anything like that. It hasn't gone in a radical different direction. Plays in that very evil sounding but modern sounding black metal. So very cool from Eclipse. It's Melanie. And the last one to show is another very interesting black metal band, black metal solo project. This is Holder, and it is a one-woman black metal band from, where's she from? Is it? Might be Norway, might be Germany, might be the US. Actually, I've got no idea. But this one is called Godslazturning. Anyway, and it's written in Germanic font, so can't get it right. So Holder sort of started to make a name for herself, doing a few demos last couple of years, and a 7-inch, and absolutely raging stuff. The demo was, I'd say, nearly raw black metal, and being, you know, a one-person band, you get to control all the instruments itself, drums, everything. But with this album, it's like she took all of that, refined it. I would no longer call this raw black metal. It would be just more organic sounding, traditional black metal sound. Definitely the best work that she's put out. If you've heard Holder, this is the best stuff so far. A total example of where you would go with a demo and an EP and what your album should sound like. Refined and just high quality. I had absolute blast listening to this. I played it through a few times, but it doesn't sort of stand out as something I can talk a great deal about as, you know, like a hugely unique or anything like that. Aside from the fact that it is a single person band and it's a single woman band. But yeah, fantastic. And I think it's on another one on Iron Bonehead. Don't remember if there was a great deal to show inside. I think I ended up with the black one, but you get booklet, cool sinister pose going on there. Lyrics, it's all very nice, shiny silver and black. There she is, Holder, and yeah, I think it is just a black vinyl, so not a great deal to show there, but it's all in the music with these guys, or this girl, really. Holder and Godslazturning. We'll go with that. The latest one from Holder. And that's it from me tonight. I know I kind of rambled a little bit on some of that stuff, but I wanted to get it all out in one go. The LPs and CDs all go in one update. So there you go. That's all my latest stuff. Hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for watching.